Hello and welcome to this lecture. Today we are going to discuss peptic ulcer disease. So the presentation of the case, this is very small case. A 30-year-old man has acute onset of pain, somewhat relieved by eating. Upper endoscopy revealed a 2 centimeter gastric ulcer. So discuss the incidence of peptic ulcer disease. We will discuss the pathogenesis of peptic ulcer disease. What are the cofactors that result in peptic ulcer disease? Understand the clinical features of peptic ulcer disease. So it is associated with H. pylori infection or NSAID. The most common in gastric antrum and first portion of the duodenum. And peptic ulcer disease sometimes may also occur in esophagus as a result of gastroesophageal reflux disease or acid secretion by ectopic gastric mucosa. How many people are affected by this disease? Around 3 million people and 190,000 hospitalization and 5,000 deaths. The lifetime risk of developing an ulcer is approximately 10% in male and 4% in female. So male are more prone to that ulceration. What will be the pathogenesis of the disease? H. pylori and NSAIDs are the primary underlying cause. Having gastric hypersecretion because of H. pylori infection, parietal cell hyperplasia, excessive secretory response, impaired inhibition of stimulatory mechanisms such as gastrin release. What are the cofactors? The cofactors are chronic NSAID, smoking cigarette, drugs such as high dose of corticosteroids, alcoholic cirrhosis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, chronic renal failure, hyperparathyroidism, hypercalcemia that stimulate gastrin, psychological stresses. So you can see that most of them condition is linked to some other causative factors. As the NSAIDs, I already discussed before that the use of NSAIDs can suppress prostaglandin and then protective mechanism has been lost. Then smoking cigarette is also responsible for ulceration, for peptic ulcer. Drugs such as high corticosteroids also impair the protective mechanism. Then chronic pulmonary obstructive disease or chronic renal failure, because they are also responsible as physiological stress or it is responsible for pathological stress. Then hyperparathyroidism or hypercalcemia, they stimulate the secretion of gastrin. When we take a look of morphological characteristics, the lesion is around less than 0.3 centimeter in diameter and that tend to shallow, whereas those over 0.6 likely to be deeper. So meaning that the ulceration depend upon that how much it affect the surface. 0.3 is shallow and 0.6 is more deep. Obviously it depend upon that how much it affect, because we know it affect lamina propria or it affect deep to the muscularic mucosa, so it depends. The classic peptic ulcer is round, oval, sharply punch out defect. Perforation is complication that demand emergent surgical intervention. As we know that the upper layers, we know the mucosal layers, then we know the lamina propria, we know muscularic mucosa, and then we know that the blood vessels are there. So obviously if ulceration is deep enough, more than 0.6, then obviously it can affect the blood vessels and then it leads to perforation that make complication. And if you take a look of the this gross picture, you can see this is I think this look like a shallow ulcer having 0.3 centimeter in diameter. And then you can see the histological picture. You can see this the picture that's showing you the damaged mucosal layer. The clinical features consist of epigastric burning, itching pain, The pain tends to occur 1 to 3 hours after meal during a day. How can we eradicate the disease? We need to see the H. pylori. If the causative factors are so many, as we discussed, 5 to 8 cofactors, and we need to remove that cofactors. H. pylori eradication is one of the important things with antibiotic use and neutralization of the gastric acid by the use of proton pump inhibitors. So thank you so much for today's lecture. Hope to see you again.